going on, guys? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Red and Gold Standard Podcast. My name is Zach Hernandez, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Matt Llewellyn. Matt, the 49ers did it. They pulled it off. It's a Halloween miracle. They beat the Bears 33-22. What were your initial reactions?
Listen, I only have one thing to say, okay? The 49ers only won because they did not have the self-proclaimed king, LeBron James, okay? No, in all seriousness, it was a funny game to watch, man. Like, the first half was super ugly. Like, everybody on Twitter was in shambles. Everybody in our chat was in shambles. Negativity abounds, right? Because the 49ers are down at the half or whatever. And, it's one of those things where the second half completely turned around. And there were some funky plays that happened that were really interesting. The first Jimmy Garoppolo touchdown run, the pile push, the Justin Fields ridiculous touchdown run. It was an interesting and fun game to watch, but all things begin somewhere. So the losing streak is over. The 49ers have gotten back to their winning ways, and hopefully, the self-proclaimed king LeBron James stays away from the 49ers because he's awful.
So if you guys can't tell, we are in our Halloween characters. Matt is Flip Say Less, and I myself and Skeven A. Stiff. So we will be given some pretty hot takes and these sayings from these guys that you guys are used to.
Yeah, it's all fun and games. I could not find. There's no way I'm going to do a Steven or a Skip Bayless costume though. There's no way.
All he wears is suit and ties, so it's like I guess I'll throw on a suit and tie.
I mean, honestly, I don't need the costume because with this strip, I can't lose. So
that's fair. I got a lot of his sayings up, and all I'm going to say is the 49ers are allergic to losing. From here on out, they cannot lose another game with Jimmy Garoppolo as the starter, Matt. The way Jimmy played today was undeniable. He is the go-to guy. 17 for 28, 322 yards, and 11.5 average, 2 TDs on the ground, 100.6 rating. You can't get that with anyone else, right? You just can't.
That is false. And let me tell you why. My Dallas Cowboys, just kidding. No, Jimmy played a pretty good game. It was interesting to see kind of some of the drops from the receivers hurt him early. I know Debo had a drop. Sanu had a critical drop on a third down. It wasn't a perfect half, but then it kind of seemed like it turned around with that deep ball that he threw to end the first half. I know he missed the next throw because Jimmy will give you something and then take something away, but it was a little bit different. And I could tell from the first series, if you look at the first couple plays they drew up, I mean, they went deep on the second play of the game. Kyle was drawing up some stuff that, normally we hadn't seen the last few weeks. So maybe Kyle's out of his funk and he's ready to go, but it was good to see, man. And, it was an awesome game.
Yeah, it really was. Listen, Victory Monday suits are finally back. That's right. Tomorrow I can get my Victory Monday suit on. It was a good game, man. And look, I tweeted out during the game, the 49ers absolutely cannot afford to let Deebo Samuel walk away when it's time to renegotiate or renew his contract.
Yeah.
He's Matt through 2 games or through 7 games this season. I know I don't have the updated score. I mean, he had 171 yards receiving today on 6 receptions. And it's just, I mean, he had that 83 yard long bomb to end the first half. And I think it was like a 74 yard or something like that.
I think the bomb was that was closer to 50. I think the 84 yarder, that was
that's right
pass that he took down to the 1 yard line and kind of stepped out. It looked like he was running out of gas. He was like, no, yo, I don't run this far. What's going on? So
I don't know how they didn't catch up to him sooner, but he got it nonetheless. And I was really surprised because they came out right away and it was kind of iffy. I mean, they were going tit for tat, field goal for field goal. Didn't really seem like they had an answer for Justin Fields and that lowly Bears offense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Bears entered the game last with third down conversion rate, and they were, I think, like 4 for 5, 5 for 6 at one point, and the Niners defense just had absolutely no answer. And Matt, you said it in the chat during the game. I think this is just a flat out bad performance from the defense. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. if ands, buts
Yeah.
about it. They just weren't playing well today.
No, they made Justin Fields look good enough that some people were like, he's better than Jimmy Garoppolo. And I was like, let's pump the brakes on that for a second. Yeah, it definitely, the defense came out a little sloppy. We definitely need to look at, D'Amico Ryans in that regard. Not as many backbreaking penalties, but Josh Norman still had a defensive hold. They played really soft. I mean, Emmanuel Mosley gave up a lot of receptions today. He did not look good in coverage. I don't know. Warner played pretty well. Bosa played outstanding as he always does. Ed Buchanan was a little bit hit or miss, right? He had that silly roughing the passer, but then got a critical sack on a third down. It was just uneven play, and you'd like to see D'Amico Ryan's defense kind of improve as the season's gone on. And I think that there's just a little bit too many starts and stops. But the big thing is that you took care of business against a beatable team. You win by 11. And then you can move on to an Arizona team that Kyler Murray, who knows if he plays, and even if he does, he's definitely going to be hobbled. DeAndre Hopkins with a bulky hamstring and no J.J. Watt. So you start to stack good games on top of each other, and the 49ers can definitely compete for a playoff spot. I do think that this pushes back Lance's debut a little bit in terms of when he gets to take over permanently. But I was always of the opinion they were probably going to win this game, and then we see what happens against Arizona and LA. I thought that they would probably lose those two games. Arizona game has definitely changed based off of health. We'll see what happens when they run into the Rams, because the Rams have been an absolute buzzsaw. So we definitely have a good shot at, it's a home game. I'd like to see us get our first home victory in over a calendar year at Levi's, but it's a good start, and that's all you want to see out of this team is, listen, end the losing streak, show a little bit of heart, show a little bit of guts and grit and determination. And I thought that they did that, especially after such an uneven first half.
Yeah, and you talked about them potentially fighting for a playoff spot. Kyle Shanahan shared in the post-game press conference that Robbie Gold and George Kittle are expected to come back from IR next week. Unfortunately, Jimmy Ward with the quad injury is going to be out several weeks. So it's plus, I'd like
Yeah.
to think the benefits outweigh the negatives here, because, getting Kittle and Gold back could be huge. I mean, Slimus, was it 2 kicks today, a kick and an extra point?
Yeah. Yeah, that
So
was rough. Listen, I'm of the opinion that Chicago is not a place where kickers like to go. I mean, it's just tough there. I know we've talked about the double doink from Cody Parkey. The Bears have been recycling kickers around. I mean, the 49ers miss a couple kicks there. I know other teams have missed kicks there. It's really weird. It's really, really weird. But yeah, I thought that when Sly missed that first field goal, I was like, uh-oh, we're in trouble now. We're not going to be able to, we can't leave points on the board when the offense isn't scoring touchdowns. And then all of a sudden, lo and behold, Jimmy Garoppolo is like, no, I'm going to rush for a couple touchdowns. It's fine. It's just so crazy. All three 49ers touchdowns were on the ground today. So very interesting. I did like to see we got a little bit more out of Brandon Ayuk today, and I definitely like to see that. That was good to see. So you can still get Debo the ball and incorporate Ayuk. And let's be real, on that 2-point conversion, he straight up snatched that DB's ankles. Like, he burnt him so bad, and he was like wide open. So I think we can put to bed the whole Ayuk can't get open thing. I think that it was nice to see Jimmy look his way a few times. So
yeah, I really like that. I thought that, I think before halftime he had 45 yards, which is sad to say, year season high. And unfortunately, it didn't add to that in the second half, but it was still nice to see, because it's the most he's had all year. And, they were looking his way. He was catching it. And I thought he played pretty well today, and he capitalized on the the opportunities that he had. Yeah, we were just talking about the 41 Live. I can't believe the Jets beat the Bengals, which is crazy.
that's crazy with a second string quarterback.
Yeah. So shout out to Saleh and the Jets. Shulo says we have a chance next week. Yeah, if Kyler Murray doesn't play, this game gets a hell of a lot more interesting. Hopefully it's interesting even if he does play.
I mean, if Kyler Murray doesn't play, there's no excuse for the 49ers not to win the game.